of that, and he just got an ear infection. So,
Nice.
like,
Well, actually, he probably did get it. It just manifested itself in an ear infection, which is it's like little kids get viruses and they do different things. It's super weird. Like Evelyn got a head to toe rash once, and we were like, "What the fuck?" Like, so we took her to the doctor and all this, and he was like, "Oh yeah, she's got the flu," and we're like, "What?" Like, what do you mean? She's got a rash. And he's like, yeah, some rashes, sometimes when a full body rash comes on like this, it's the kid's like self-defense mechanism against the flu virus. So it manifests itself in the skin instead of the lungs. And we're like, what the? That's a fucking thing that happens? Are you kidding me? Like, yeah.
Anyway, so if everybody's got their Audacity app, we are now live.
All right.
So let's get your Audacity set up, and then I'll give you a countdown.
Yeah.
You ready, Zach?
I was born ready.
All right.
Which is my answer to say no. But
how is that freaking trap? All right, I'm ready to record.
All right. 3, 2, 1, record.
And we're recording.
Yep.
Okay, we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Welcome, everyone. And welcome to the Pixel Life. This is episode 44. We're recording on March 21st. It's been a while. It's been all damn near 2 weeks, but we climbed out of these gutters and pulled it back together, and we're now at the hot mics recording a brand new show. This week we're going to cover Google Stadia announcement, the exciting possibility of LucasArts reforming after the big Disney and Fox merger. Me and Shannon are going to be talking some Division 2, and we're going to get to the most important part of this week, which is we're going to rank the 8 Fast and Furious movies. And I'm expecting fireworks.
Yes.
We're gonna rank it a quarter mile at a time. It's going to be good.
That's such a bad line.
So
that's such a bad line.
Yes, it is. So with me, as always, is Mr. Shannon Moore.
You never had me. You never had your car. It's my favorite line. That's what I'm going with.
That's also a really bad good line, but yeah, that's great. And also, Mr. Robert Steltenpool.
What's up, man?
Where's your line?
How you doing?
You got no line. You've watched all the movies and you don't have one of them. You don't have a good line.
I'm gonna beat you like a Cherokee drum.
Oh, jeez.
That line is used.
Okay.
Way to make it awkward, Robbie.
It's a line. Yeah.
It is a line from those movies.
Okay. Well, if you want more of that goodness, you can head on over to thatpixellife.com for more of us. Any links that you might be interested, like following us on Twitter, which, by the way, we got to get back on that. The @thatpixellife handle has been languishing for a while now, and so we'll reclaim that throne and get back up with some more updates and all that goodness. You can subscribe to us on YouTube to watch these unedited live streams and watch me drink coffee while I fumble through these things. It's fun. You can join the Facebook group, which we always have some good content on there and good chats, and we talk about news and games and all that fun stuff. And then we've got a Patreon if you want to get up on there and help us keep the lights on, all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's all the housekeeping I got. As far as little things, as you can probably hear my daughter yelling in the background as someone hates bedtime. I know another thing that's happening in the background, which is Robbie watching some March Madness. And how you doing? How's your bracket looking, Rob?
Well, I always do like 3 or 4, like everybody.
Yeah, but everyone always has the one.
Yeah, there is a 1, and that 1 is doing fine. I think the only one that I missed that I'm kind of upset about is
Tell me you didn't go against Murray State. Like
No, I picked Murray State because I pay attention to college basketball.
Dude, that kid is a baller.
Dude, Marquette lost 4 of the last 6 games, or 6 of the last 7 games. Like they
could have won the last 10. They weren't beating that kid tonight.
Yeah.
What's it? What's his last name?
The New Mexico game hurt me, and Nevada losing to Florida hurt me. I'm very surprised that the SEC is 4-0 today, just because I didn't expect their basketball to be very good. But we'll see what happens. Let's see who gets out of the weekend.
No, Robbie, I'm going to jump in here. I got a major gripe with one of your brackets, and that is there's a lot of fucking fruity pebbles in your brackets, and there's not enough cocoa Rice Krispies, or like the only chocolate cereal you got in there.
No. Cocoa Puffs, Cocoa Krispies, and Cookie Crisp are all in there.
Dude, Cocoa Puffs are some whack shit.
Wait, so just to fill people in, Robbie took the wonderful approach of making a bracket of breakfast cereals, and let's not go through the whole thing, but give me like the two most contentious rankings. Like, give me like
someone. Okay, so people aren't happy, and look, I try to be objective. I didn't say like, oh, what's my favorite cereals. Like, sure. I try to be as objective, but some people have pushed back about Golden Grams being a 1 seed. Some people have pushed about
that's ridiculous, by the way. Golden Grams being a 1 seed, like,
yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just because of where I'm from, but in the South, like, you love Golden Grams, like you just do. And then this guy who is about my age, but he's basically 87, writes checks for $12. Wanted to try to tell me that cornflakes should be a 1 seed.
Oh, and hell no!
I was like, is he gonna go grape nuts on you? Like, what are we talking?
He did.
Like,
he said grape nuts should have been ranked higher. Should have been a higher seed.
I've never even had grape nut seed, and I will tell you right now, if I am hungry and I open up a cabinet and I see just regular cornflakes, I will close that cabinet and eat dirt.
Exactly.
I will rather eat dirt than have cornflakes.
His stupid argument, and I love you, David, very much, but his stupid argument was like, cornflakes are they're the go-to because you can just add sugar to them and now they're Frosted Flakes. It's like, mother effer, that's not how that works.
No, the ranking isn't, and then we add bananas. Like, no, it's
it's by itself. But no,
because Cheerios kind of sucks. But if you put some sliced up banana in there, Cheerios suddenly becomes pretty good. You know what I mean?
So I didn't do 64. I did 32, and I did four sections of seating from 1 to 8. And I'll probably share it in the Facebook group. I'm not going to do the poll for the group.
Lucky Charms get a 1 seed.
Too long.
Lucky Charms had to get a 1 seed.
I think so.
Yeah, Lucky Charms.
Okay, you know what? I'll just give you my 1 seeds really quick.
Yeah. Give me the
my
1
seeds are Cinnamon Toast Crunch, CT Crunch. Another one is Lucky Charms. Another one is Golden Grams, and the other one is Cocoa Puffs. Like,
now, see, I've those 1 seeds. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is the Zion Williamson.
It's gonna win.
I just ate a whole like Costco-sized box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch like yesterday. So
yeah, that's a winner right there.
Like, when you don't call it Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but you call it CT Crunch, you know it means something to your life. You know it means just a little bit more.
It's crept in so much you've added abbreviations. Like,
that's right.
You're calling it CT Crunch because you're boys. You know,
please help me remember about abbreviations when we talk about Fast and the Furious, because I have to vent about a very bad abbreviation. But no, this has been really fun. I've been posting on my personal Facebook page, and the interesting one, like, some of these votings have been very interesting. Like, not CT Crunch, like it won. Like, no, I'm sorry. One a-hole picked Golden Smacks.
What the hell?
Over CT Crunch, and I was like, and I just told my friend, I was like, get out. Like, just
you leave those smacks in milk for too long, and they turn into a soggy mess. You leave them in there for even more than a minute, they're ruined.
Now, if it was like the Sugar Smacks of me and Shannon's youth. Like, see, Robbie, you're young enough; it had already turned to Golden Smacks by the time you came around to eating cereal. But when we're talking like 1984, with a bowl of Sugar Smacks and, like, Saturday morning cartoons, like, you were cracked out for hours. Like, they were not joking around when they called that Sugar Smacks. Like, that was That was the truth back in the day. Like,
oh, man. So where are we going with this? I don't remember.
We're going.
Yeah, I think you should put that up on our group and watch the world explode. And then
I will. I will.
Yeah,
I'll put it up tonight.
Let's get that up on the group. I want to see people's thoughts because
people need to freaking understand. I took over an hour off the top of my head putting this together.
And you should share it more because it's
you know what? I will.
Because it's also one of those things. It's one of those great things where you don't realize how many people don't think like you until you do something like this.
100%.
And you're sitting there like, someone out there listening right now is like, these motherfuckers talking about grape nuts are amazing. Like, what the hell's your problem? And like, this person has gone their whole life thinking like grape nuts are the shit. And they've got boxes in their cabinet. They got Costco-sized boxes of grape nuts sitting in their cabinets.
That just sounds gross.
Well, it sounds like dental bills because I don't know if you've ever eaten grape nuts. But they will break your damn teeth. Like,
no, Jesus. Captain Crunch is a dark horse in the fuck your mouth up category. Like, that thing will destroy you.
Matt Sattler was like, man, it's all about like peanut butter. Captain Crunch should be #1 seed. I was like,
nope.
And I wanted to say, not a chance, man. The fact that it rips your mouth to shreds, and your mouth tastes bloody while tasting bad peanut butter.
Yeah, I was gonna also say it's like, it's weird to say this, but it's too peanut buttery. It's almost gross.
Mm-hmm.
The level of peanut butter flavor you get from that is kind of gross, But anyway, this is not the cereal podcast, but we will continue this conversation on the Facebook group because it's a fun one. But we should probably get to, I would say, the biggest news we've had in a while, and it was earlier this week on Tuesday in San Francisco at the Game Developers Conference, or GDC. Google took the stage, and right after the CEO of Google says, I'm not really a gamer, but hey, here's Phil Harrison, which I thought was really weird. It's like, what? That was a scripted thing. Like someone, you know how many passes these speeches go through before someone gets on stage to deliver it? And the first line of the first speaker of this exciting thing that everyone was waiting to see is, I'm not really into games. It's like, okay, thanks. Why are you here? But anyway, so anyway, they got up there and announced that Google Stream, the thing that I had used, and Robbie, did you use that as well?
No, I didn't get a chance to.
But it was where you could play Assassin's Creed Odyssey earlier as through the Google browser, and it worked really well. It did not look all that great, I'll be honest, but it worked very well. And that whole process has been rebranded Stadia, as in like stadium, but Stadia.
That sounds like an erectile dysfunctional,
or like a fake sugar for your coffee. You know,
yes,
one of those type of things. And laid it all out. As Phil Harrison said, the future of gaming is not a box; it's a place. And I found the presentation very cool. Essentially, it's an entirely cloud-based gaming service. All of the hardware is on Google's back end, and you're just tapping into it and playing. I think the ramifications of it are incredibly interesting. I think it is insanely ambitious. I don't see it being I don't see widespread acceptance of it coming in the first maybe 10 years. It's going to take a long time for bandwidth across the nation to catch up to what they want to do.
Yeah,
I mean,
we've talked about that ad nauseum, just like how the internet bandwidth problem is going to keep this from being prosperous early on. It just is.
Now, I think where that could change is as LTE standards change, and streaming through your phone or through tablets or other cellular based devices. As that bandwidth increases, I think you have a better shot of this becoming more widespread versus over the pipe to your house. Because that's required, you don't need cities, you don't need municipalities involved to upgrade all that process. And
still though, the data cap stuff, like that has to change in some form or fashion for I'll even consider doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Look, I think this is an awesome idea in concept, but you know what? So is the the Xbox AR stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you mean. The
HoloLens.
They're not VR. Yeah, HoloLens. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. HoloLens is a great concept. I just don't think it's going to be prosperous now, but we'll see. I think it was very, very interesting.
Yeah. But oh, sorry. Go ahead, Shane.
I'm just gonna say there's a lot of questions I still have. Like, my mom and I were watching the news, and they were big on it. Like, when they debuted their service, but the questions remain. Were like, how do the developers get paid? Because it was just basically, it's going to be one license that's going to be like divided out to whoever is logging into their servers and playing, right? So, is it like on a volume? Is it going to be like on a volume standard? Is it going to be they just like split the commission in some way, shape, or form? Like, how does the payment schedule work for the developers? I heard there is still a lot of input lag from the controller to the to like what's actually happening on the TV.
Now I will say, using the Google Stream process, I did not notice any lag.
Okay.
As far as that was concerned, but again, Assassin's Creed Odyssey isn't Street Fighter V, so I'm sure different, or like Call of Duty or any of these Apex Legends, so on and so forth. I'm sure there's going to be different games where that's way more noticeable.
But, yeah, and then net neutrality with it being repealed. How is that going to affect streaming and your bandwidth rate and all that stuff, especially here in the Bay Area where you have a little bit more, I guess you have some more freedom as far as the services that you're getting and how you're consuming your media. So it'll be interesting to see how they iron those out, and if since they're a big enough company, how much they can regulate or choose their destiny as to like how widely dispersed they are.
Well, and I think so. The other interesting part of that, like you just touched on, is essentially someone at Google, I'm assuming a higher up, went like, "Hey, Netflix changed movies once they went to streaming. Spotify and these services changed music once everything went to streaming. No one buys movies anymore. No one buys music anymore. They just stream it as a service. Why hasn't anyone done this for gaming?" And Google just built it. They were like, you know what? We have the resources. Let's just build this. And so they did. And the interesting part of that is it's all in-house. It's not dependent on any other companies holding up their end of the bargain. And so Google has the vast resources to just let this thing ride. They can start small. They can just let it go and go and go until all of a sudden it's the standard. It almost has like a Steam vibe to it, where Steam started very small as just a Half-Life 2 pack-in that you needed to run the game. And, fast forward 15 years, everyone has Steam if you're a PC gamer. And it's one of those things. I think that's Google's bet here, is that they're betting that, yes, it's going to take a long time for bandwidth, across the nation and data caps to work themselves out and all of these things, but they're willing to place that bet and take the time to make that happen because it's all built in-house and they can afford it, basically. So
I agree. It'll be interesting. I hope it works out because, the only reason I've never really gone into gaming on a PC is just because I never really wanted to invest in all the graphics cards and all the other stuff and keep up with that. Like, if I have one initial investment and then the streaming service kind of does all the fidgeting for me, then yeah, I might be a little bit more acclimated or inclined to go towards the PC gaming than stick to a console.
I will say this, and then I don't really have anything else to add to it. I want to give kudos, even though he doesn't know who I am or he'll probably never listen to this podcast. I want to give a shout out to Jason Schreier, who for a few months now has been saying this is not going to be a console. This is going to be streaming based. And everyone else was saying, no, it's a console. No, it's a box. It's going to be a streaming box, blah, blah, blah. And he's been saying from day one, no, it's not. And he was right. you know, so like I continue just to be blown away at just the great pulse that he has of gaming, you know, what's going on in gaming culture in general.
Well, so. and it's one of those things I think by making it cloud-based, by making it a Chrome browser-based thing, I thought one of the most impressive parts of their presentation was when they had the cheapest Chromebook they could find, a cheap Android tablet, the cheapest desktop PC they could go buy. And they said this all, like they said, like, this is all incredibly low quality stuff. There's not one, you know, high-end machine on this table. And the guy went from thing to thing to thing, switching over his gameplay at the exact same spot, picking it up, playing a couple of seconds, picking it up, playing a couple seconds from device to device. There was no drop in quality other than like the screen on the tablet wasn't that good, but you could tell it was the color problem was based on the screen, not the stream, you know? Mm-hmm. And I thought it was incredibly impressive just to see them be like, look, it doesn't matter. You could have the $99 Android tablet and this would still work, which is very cool. Like, I mean, and the thing that they didn't do, which instantly opened a bunch of skepticism, there was no mention of price. Mm-hmm. You know, because I'm sitting there watching this going like, if this is $15 a month or so, I'm probably in. Sure, I'm probably in on that and then I probably am not buying the next Xbox or the next PlayStation or whatever. I'm just doing this. But you know, if this is $25 a month, I'm probably out. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see what their price point is as it comes to a service.
Now, what do you think of the controller?
It looks like the Nintendo Pro controller. I don't know.
I mean, but like, I mean, are you a fan of those joysticks in that configuration, or do you think?
No. I mean, I understand. I understand a lot of people like the PlayStation configuration as far as joystick goes, the side by side. I am a Microsoft guy. My hands naturally want to go, you know, one up here, one down here, and so that's how I like to hold it. But I mean, I've never had a problem using a PlayStation 1. It's just a preference, but I don't really care. Man.
I just thought I can't look at that controller without seeing a happy face in the middle of it. Like it just makes me laugh, giggle a little bit every time.
Did you see the one that was like taken from the underside or like the side of it, showing you like the Wi-Fi connection and microphone and all that, and someone just put a circle around it and it looked like a big panda face. That's like awesome. Happy panda face. It made me laugh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the only other thing I want to add to this is I am excited to see what this initiative means for Microsoft, because I see a real opportunity for Microsoft here for the next Xbox to be streaming based, but also as Game Pass is, you can just download the game. So let it do both. You know,
the more that we talk about the streaming stuff, and especially with this Savia, whatever, Stadia thing, the more and more that if that's fine that this is going to be the way it is, but I want a Switch-like product to play it on. I don't want I don't want to have to carry an iPad, or I don't want to have to carry a device and a controller. I want the controller on the device. I don't want to use a touch screen. I don't want to do that bull crap. I don't like that at all. So that's not going to change me. If Microsoft, you know, said, hey, here is an option that we're going to offer, and it's just it is just a tablet, but it has a controller on the two ends like a Switch. That will make me. First of all, that will make me never buy an Xbox again. That will make me probably consider not continuing to own a Switch, and I will just have my PlayStation, and I will have that.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to how the industry is moving to all games as services, not latched onto hardware and everything. Because people were talking like the one console future. I think it's kind of happening as we're speaking. Yeah. You know, now that you're seeing Cuphead show up on the Switch that was announced at GDC, and all these first party proprietary things are starting to bleed at the edges a little bit.
And isn't that an announcement that we would normally see at E3?
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it.
It's well, I mean, the Google Stadia announcement is an announcement you'd see at E3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that it just continues to show that just E3 is not as relevant or prevalent as it once was. And Xbox is saying, "Oh, we're going to go all out." That's great, but I mean, it's not going to be a full 2 days of stuff the way it used to be.
No, and it's one of those things where I can see a scenario 2 years from now where E3 doesn't even exist.
Or it becomes a PAX.
A PAX, yeah. But E3 as we know it, where big announcements happen and companies are taking the stage, I can see where that doesn't even happen 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. I think I agree with you. I think it's just lost its viability. But on to more promising news. Robbie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the LucasArts buzz?
So it appears that Disney is going to reopen LucasArts, the video game side company, and they're going to start developing games, I guess, in-house. They're going to have their own development company. And I posted this on the Facebook page earlier this week, and I know that I'm just being optimistic, but they know how bad they were last time, hence the reason why they closed it down and shut it down, because of how bad the games were and how bad the production was and all that jazz. I don't believe that Disney would invest in this again unless they had an actual plan to give quality products to us. Because I'm going to tell you, they are listening to people bust on EA for the last 10 years about where the crap the games are, which I've said for the last 3 shows. And I don't know. I'm optimistic. I think that this could be a really awesome move for Star Wars video games.
Now, do you think they buy the properties from back from EA, like all that work that was done on like all those games that they scrapped? And then do you think they pick the ball up and so they just have like games that are coming out relatively soon? Or do you think they go all the way back to the drawing board and start from scratch with everything?
I'm okay with them starting from scratch if that means that we get games, obviously I'll have to wait a couple years, but if I wait a couple years and I'm starting to get a Star Wars game every year or every other year, that will make me happy, You
just want that Obi-Wan game.
So freaking bad. And look, I know everybody wants that 13-13 game. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I want it too, but I just want games. I just want Star Wars games. This is outside of Middle Earth, man. This is my favorite world, that fictional world, hands down. And there's so much you could do, so much that should be done, and the fact that it's just not getting done. I just, if this is closer to me getting that world where I can have Star Wars games, then I want this.
Gotcha. Yeah, no,
Battlefront sucks.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'd be interested to see their agreement with EA. If EA's rights to Star Wars mean Disney themselves can't make any. I would be curious to see if one of them has to stop making them for the other to make them, sort of thing. If they would have to buy the rights to Star Wars back proper, for these things to exist. But let's not limit ourselves to Star Wars. This now includes superhero games, I would imagine. All the Marvel titles and properties. I would
now Fox.
All that. Yep.
And Fox titles,
which also include the Alien universe. That's my new favorite Disney queen, the Alien Queen. That's my new favorite. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how this plays out if it really goes down this way. Because LucasArts, I mean, it's a nostalgia play. I mean, it's one of those things where, some of my favorite games growing up were LucasArts games, like X-Wing versus TIE Fighter and Day of the Tentacle and all those, all those Scum BM games were great. But
go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I was going to say, but it's just, that was 25 years ago. So it'll be interesting to see how the new version holds up. Is all I was going to say.
I don't want to have a long conversation about this, but I do just want to mention, for a company like EA, who swears they love money, or just by certain actions, we know they love money. They sure as heck don't love it enough to do things that are going to definitively make them money. And I was just thinking because I don't know who has the rights to it. So we haven't gotten remakes of KOTOR. We haven't gotten remakes of the Mass Effect series. We haven't gotten remakes of the Dead Space series. They don't do remakes. They don't do remasters.
That's actually a really good point. I've never considered that, but you're absolutely right. Like, how hard would it be to just crap out a 4K version?
We're getting a remake of Assassin's Creed 3, one of the most hated games of the series, and it's going to make a ton of money because people want to play that game. And again, and I'm one of them, but we can't get remakes of some of the greatest games ever made. It just blows my
mind. Yeah. No, I'm kind of with you on that. They're in a really weird spot. They're just in a really weird place where they seem listless. They seem like they don't know what they want to do or what direction they want to go. I think they placed a lot of bets, and Anthem being the latest, most biggest one, and not a lot of them have cashed. They've lost a lot of the bets they've laid out, and I think they've got Madden and they've got FIFA and they've got all the money that comes with those things, but it seems like other than that they're just languishing, and so it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening there, because I know the old maxim is a battleship turns slowly, but it's got to turn at some point or it's just going to crash. It's like you can't keep going the same direction. So
yeah.
I don't know, man. Well, why don't we move on to what we have been playing? And this week, I know Shannon and myself picked up The Division 2. Are you playing on PlayStation, Shannon?
I am.
Okay, I'm playing on the Xbox, and I'll let Shannon do most of the talking because I'm assuming he's played more than I have. I'm only a few hours in, but I will tell you right now that this game is going to be on the Game of the Year list. This game is probably the best online multiplayer shooter thing I have played ever. It is incredibly good. It is just, the shooting is great. The way the mission structure is, I will say some of the graphics are a little hard. Like I said on Twitter, there are some Xbox 360 hair going on these characters. They do not have the Tomb Raider tress effects working. But man, it is just really, really good. So to recap, people, I'm sure people are know, but so Division 1, some madman infects all the money, and a huge plague wipes out civilization, and Division 2 civilization has crumbled. You are based out of the White House. You are part of a elite team that's trying to just put the pieces back together, in a sense, protect the good people that are out there, take out the kind of territorial warlords that have popped up in the area, and you've got all the guns and skills to make all this happen. There's a growing skill tree, kind of like a perk based system that you can get. Well, let's see. Shannon was there. There's turrets. There's drones. There's
seeker mines. There's a scanner that'll let you know where enemies are. I think
the shield stuff.
There's the shield stuff, and then there's a medical one too. I think an aura that you can throw out, and anybody inside your medical aura gets healed. So yeah.
A thing about that I thought was really interesting, just talking about the healing, is so there is regenerating health, right? But there's not regenerating armor, which I found to be a very cool twist, but also makes this game really hard.
It's not regenerative as long as you're in combat. Once the combat scenario ends, it regenerates.
You don't get the Gears of War guitar string, but you get the last guy will fall, and then all of a sudden your armor refills, and you're like, oh, okay, it's over. But yeah. So while you're in the firefights, these your armor will click down, and then you'll have to use consumables to heal up your armor, but that makes you kind of have to run and find a safe spot real quick to do it in. And I found myself quite a lot looking at that gauge being like, okay, there's 3 guys. I think I can take them out. I don't think I have to go heal my armor up. I think I can make it. I think I can make crap. I didn't make it. Like I found that happening a lot, but I think that's part of that is just a learning the game type of thing. Cause yeah, it's not Gears of War. I mean, it's a cover-based shooter and you will go from cover to cover to cover, but let me tell you, these guys, the AI in this is way more difficult than the Locusts ever were, and they will kick the shit out of you. Like, I am not kidding. Like, this game gets real hard. Like, I am a few hours in, and it's real hard.
Yeah, there are a lot of differences between the AI from the first game and this one. Like, they really ramped up the aggressiveness, and it's understandable because like a lot of the hyenas, which is the terrorist group in this one, they are they're doing something with the virus and they're manufacturing it into like a drug. So like they basically use it as like a rage inducing like narcotic. So a lot of them will like huff it and then just run at you. And if they have a baton, like, I mean, you might be able to like hit them, but like from what I've seen, the one gripe that I have about the actual melee mechanics is that it's really hard to land an actual like physical strike on one of those characters. I've died by their hands numerous times, and it's really kind of frustrating because you get overrun by them in a couple areas. But yeah, I mean, like if they have a gun and they get hopped up on that stuff, they wreck your soul. Like, I mean, they fill you with bullet holes like so fast. Like they'll just run around the corner and just like plunk like a whole clip right into you.
Well, yeah, like, because they close space and will flank you just faster than you can adjust to. Really, is what it is. It's like all of a sudden they're on your left, and you're like, wait, what? Oh crap! Like, yeah.
But they got no problems jumping. They got no problems falling down one full story to shoot at you. Like, man, they are so unpredictable.
And it is I will say the one thing, the combat in this game is really, really good, but the melee combat sucks. Like when guys run up on you and you're like, oh, well, I'll just like, use my gun and butt this dude out of the way. No, you won't. You'll die. Like there's no, just run away and try to shoot. Like, cause the melee combat's the worst.
Yeah.
But have you tried calling people into your game at all?
See, that's the one confusing thing, right? So the game doesn't really do that good of a job in the beginning. Like if this is like your first dive into the Division, it's kind of like they just kind of drop you out there and it's just kind of like, okay, figure it out. Like here is just figure out the controls, like have some fun, play in the sandbox. So me not having touched the Division in probably like a year or something.
It's been a while for me too.
Yeah. Like I didn't know the controls. I was trying to figure it out, and still like, while I've gotten the basic combat and item ability controls down, I don't know how to jump into somebody else's game. Like when you call for help, because when you in this game where if you get shot and you die, you can actually call for backup. So what it does is anybody in your area, in your general vicinity, it will send out like a distress signal to them. They can run over to you and then they can resuscitate you or jump into your mission and try to help you out. I get those calls all the time. I open my menu, I open the HUD to try to find out like where they are or how close I am to them, and I don't see them. So either that means they're just in a zone that I haven't gotten to yet, or
I think that is what it means, because if they're in the same zone you are, they should just pop up.
Okay.
That's yeah.
Okay. But, so I haven't jumped into anybody's game yet. I haven't done like I've gone to the safe houses and I've seen the matchmaking setups, but I haven't particularly done any of that group stuff yet.
But have you? No, I'm not much. I've jumped into one guy's game and instantly got killed, and was like, oh well, I'm glad to help you. Now I'm dead. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, it's what, but it is a mechanic where I can see, because I'm guessing the game gets harder. So I can see it being like almost Dark Soulsy, how it's like, yeah, someone help me kill this dude, because holy crap, I keep dying, So I think it's a fun way to do that. I definitely see how, I mean, you can play this game single player. That's how I'm playing it, but I can see where squatting up in this game makes it a lot better. You know, it's built. It reminds me a lot of when you play like Halo on Legendary, where it's like, yeah, you can do it by yourself, but if you've got 4 people, it's how this mode was supposed to be played. And there are many areas I've come across, like what the art district was one of them, where I'm like, the way this is laid out, if I had 2 or 3 people with me, this would be so much better, so much easier, you know, like to get through, because there's so many like squirrel spots for people throughout that whole area, where it's just like, okay, well, if I had someone else on my right or on my left that could like take down this side, and I wouldn't have to worry about that, and I could actually focus on the 3 things in front of me instead of like the 18 things on my sides, then it probably would be all right. But no, it's a game I've been thinking about all week. I'm dying to get to the weekend just so I can play more of it. It's going to be taking up a lot of my time, which it says a lot, because Sekiro comes out next week, or this week.
No, it comes out tonight, buddy. I've got it.
Yeah, it comes out in minutes, and I am really anxious to get my hands on that one too. So, but I think I might have to wait on that for a while, because I can see the Division taking up a lot of my time. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of meat on that bone. Like I think there's so much to do in each section, and that if you look at that map is so large. So this is going to be a game I'll play for a while. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how Sekiro, or whatever it is, the Sekiro, or what that game does, and how you two enjoy it, because it looks interesting, it looks intriguing. It's a game I know I will never play. Robbie, have you loaded it up yet by any chance? Have you played any of it?
Oh no. When I went to the gym, did half the workout, picked up the game because they did a 9 o'clock release, went back to the gym, finished the workout, then came home, and then I put it in for it to install, and then it was time for us to record. So I haven't been able to touch it at all, but I may switch to, when we're done, I may switch to watching cues on my laptop and just play for a few minutes.
There you go.
Can you give us a review of your letter opener that you received for pre-ordering it? Does it open letters?
It does.
I was gonna say, Robbie, this is a podcast. This is an audio medium. So like you gotta do something to give us like. There you go.
There you go. I will say this. I don't remember. I think the last collector's edition of a game I bought was BioShock Infinite, and it came with a sexy songbird statue and vinyl of the soundtrack. But I won't lie, they had pulled it out. They had unboxed one of them at the GameStop tonight. Man, that was a beautiful collector's edition. That was only like $80. Like, it wasn't your typical like $120 or something like that. Really? Like, it was only $20 more. Now the statue would probably break by the time I get home, but it at least looked gorgeous. But yeah, I've watched a lot of quick plays and stuff like that of this game. Buddy, this is going to be that game that this is going to be my Division 2, because I will not bash Division 2 at all, but I don't have time for that kind of game. I just don't.
And the thing I would say to that, which I came to Division 2 kind of under the same thing, that's why I didn't play Division 1, is I just didn't have time to get good at it, basically. They fixed a lot of that problem. Like, it's a hard shooter, but you can absolutely play it single player. Like, it's totally doable. Where like Division 1, it wasn't fun single player at all. No. Like, it just wasn't. And this one, it's a really good cover shooter. Like, take everything away from it, it's a great cover shooter. Like, that's what it is. And
that's good to know.
Yeah, so it's one of those things, like, maybe holiday, when that shit's going to drop down to like $20, it's probably totally worth a flyer on.
And when I'm done with school, that'll change a lot, and I'll be able to jump in and play it then. And what I mean by time is, it's not just the time to play by myself, just wanting to play with my friends. Like, I don't have time to play with my friends. And because they want to play at like from now. Like they want to start playing at 10 p.m. and play until like 1. I can't do that.
Oh, why? Weird.
Yeah. Hashtag dad life. But with that said, I'm excited for Sekiro.
I can't wait to hear about it next week. Well, since you're on a roll, Mr. Stilton Bull, why don't you talk about the latest and greatest games other than Sekiro, and I mean Mario Aces and Final Fantasy IX.
Okay, so I'll talk about Final Fantasy IX sooner because I have some less things to say just because I'm only like 5 hours into the game. Okay. That game has aged incredibly well. Let me say that it is aged incredibly well. The combat is still very fun. But what I did not know, and I don't know if 8 had this, I don't remember, but they have this like active time thing where you press a button and go to another character and see what's happening with that character. And now I know 6 did this, but the fact that you can just kind of flip back and forth on a whim throughout the game is really kind of cool. The story is now getting interesting. Like it's like every Final Fantasy game. Like it takes to a certain the hour point whenever it's going to get interesting, and it finally did. And so I'm excited. I'm going to continue playing, obviously, but it's kind of being like, hey, I'm on the go kind of game for me to play, especially now because Sekiro is here. But the other game, Mario Aces. Okay. Let me just say what everyone has said for a long time. Nintendo does mechanics probably better than anyone when it comes to, like, if they're going to make a boxing game, it's going to play incredibly tight. If they're going to make a golf game, it is going to be incredibly tight. And just like that, it is the same thing here with tennis. It plays incredibly tight. The fact that they have constant online tournaments, the fact that they encourage people to play in these tournaments daily is just really cool. Like I think that is doing something Nintendo doesn't normally do, as far as giving someone like me something to do, someone to play against on a constant basis. And the fact that they create tournaments to where you can play with items or without items, kind of like Smash Brothers. Because let's just get down to the nitty-gritty of Aces. It's a tennis game. That's all I need to say. There's a lot of characters done. However, a lot of the game is surrounded by power-ups, super hits, zone read hits, like super power moves and stuff like that. And I won't lie, it does kind of become like items in Smash Brothers, where it's not about your ability to play tennis well. It's about, can you get your meter up quicker to do a special move to get a guaranteed point? Gotcha. And that is kind of annoying and frustrating. But like I said, if you want to play on an online tournament, you can just go to the simple class and play, which makes it sound like the dumb kid in class. And then you can just play with no items whatsoever, and then it just becomes a tennis match. And I really enjoy that. The character selection. Another thing, it looks incredibly gorgeous. Like, it's beautiful. I love that almost everybody has their own kind of court. I wish there was more variety in like kind of Luigi's looks like Mario's, just with green instead of red. But the one complaint outside of like I said, just how it becomes more power up system is I'm kind of surprised at how there aren't as many characters as I thought there would be. And like, yes, there's Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, and there's the Koopas, and there's Rosalina and stuff like that, but there's no Link, there's no Zelda, there's none of these other Nintendo characters that could be available. And I was kind of surprised by that. Like, I almost feel like maybe they weren't making enough money, so they didn't invest more into it.
Or was that all supposed to be like DLC down the line that
they just
it didn't sell well enough? So
yeah, I mean, that's my take. It's just going to be I think I'm ready to admit Zach is right once again. I don't know if I'm ever going to play Smash Brothers again. Like I think I found the party game that I want to own for the Switch. And that's Mario Tennis. Right. And if they do a soccer game, I'll get that, or or something like that. But
whatever happened to Strikers? Strikers was so good.
I don't know. The same place that their freaking basketball game went, and the baseball game went. Like, just again,
dude. Do you remember Mario Baseball for the Game Boy? I played the crap out of that game.
But where the hell is the Mario Golf? Yeah. Where's the Mario Golf on the Switch?
Because the 3DS one was pretty solid.
Dude, it was one of the highest selling 3DS games.
Yeah.
And I remember I put 82 hours into that game.
Oh, Jesus.
Into a freaking Mario Golf game. But anyway, that's what I've been playing, and next week, or I guess maybe in 2 episodes, depending on when we record the next one, I will have a Sekiro update.
Yes.
I may have scars on my face from scratching myself out of anger, or pulling my beard out, but we'll see. But Zach, look, we've beat around the bush long enough. Let's get into what we're really here for.
All right, we are all here because last episode, at the end of the episode, if you stuck it out to the end, we started batting around the Fast and Furious movies, and I offhandedly threw out that Tokyo Drift was the worst one, which Robbie vehemently opposed. And then Shannon jumped in with that, like, no. Too Fast, Too Furious is the worst movie, hands down. And by the end of it, we decided, screw this, we're going to rank all the Fast and Furious movies just because, like, these things need to happen. We need to have a definitive list. And so we are going to do that now. We're going to go 8 to 1.
Okay.
We're going through all the movies. We're going to do worst to first. And I'm expecting the tension to come at the beginning and at the end. But why don't so since last episode, I have gone through a good chunk of the movies. I did not rewatch all of them, but I went through a good chunk of them. And I can say now, I'm ready to concede that Too Fast, Too Furious was the worst movie.
Thank you.
Like goddamn, that movie's bad. Like,
so bad.
Oh my God. That movie, first off, it's the only one that doesn't have Vin Diesel, which automatically should put it at the bottom of the list.
Well, no, Tokyo Drift doesn't have him either until like last 10 seconds.
But he's in the movie.
Yeah. Because at that time, he got too big for his britches, and he said specifically that he wasn't going to do sequels. He was he was just like, no, I'm not a sequel guy or whatever.
That's ironic now.
And then he made the Chronicles of Riddick, and everyone was like, oh God, that movie's so bad. But
Pitch Black was really good.
Pitch Black was really good, and the Chronicles of Riddick video game was really good. But that movie was real bad. Like,
yes, it was.
Oof. But we're not here to talk about Chronicles of Riddick.
Yeah. So we all agree 2 is the worst.
Oh, 2 is hot garbage.
Yeah. So, Roman is probably the worst character to have as a main character. I mean, Roman is just. It's bad when you watch the movie praying that the car wreck kills him. Like, can this one be the one that snaps his neck? Like, please. Like,
but it wasn't just the actors too; it was the cars. I mean, like that Eclipse was garbage
and CGI, just like
bad
CGI. All right,
yeah.
So the next one, I guess, is 3. The next worst is good. Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Zach.
So I'll tell you what I think the next worst movie is 2009's Fast and Furious.
Oh no!
What?
No, I don't agree with that at all.
No way!
That movie sucks, dude. It is soulless. It is soulless. It is more of a remake than it is a sequel. Like it acts more like it just sets the stage for like the next 4 movies. But that movie's just bad. Like it's just straight up bad.
I think it might actually have one of the tightest stories of all of them.
Yeah, and it's really boring.
I don't know. Okay, so let me just preface with this. I rewatched all of them during my 4 or 5 days of being very sick in bed. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed 4, not remembering it very well.
Mm-hmm.
However, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think Tokyo Drift is better than the first one.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
No, like I'll tell you right now. I think Fate of the Furious is probably like my second to last favorite in that.
Yes, and 7 is not good either.
No,
okay. Well, first, hold on.
Oh,
because I would say, if my personal list would go Too Fast, 2009, Fast and Furious, and then Fate of the Furious. Because I will listen to the argument that Fate of the Furious is number 7 on this list.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Mm-hmm. You know what? It is.
It's not even a complete movie. It's just a screen. It's just them going to different locations and something happening. It's like a bunch of short movies that they threw together into like one like hodgepodge. Like that's how I feel.
And I can't believe it. And like, this is not disrespectful. This is just the truth. I didn't realize how important Paul Walker was to the movies until I rewatched 7 and 8, because there is a heart to 7 and 8 that is missing, even though Paul Walker's in half of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
tell you right now, you look up "Mailing It In" the freaking encyclopedia, and there's a picture of Charlize Theron from this movie. Like, I mean, that was just like, did my check clear? Okay, great. I'll still show up. Like,
you know what? We're going with you know what? That's it. We're putting Fate of the Furious as number 7.
All right. I would not believe that a week ago, but I'm totally on board with that. I'm actually totally on board with that. Now I
won the first one.
Will you guys really not? You really want?
I
really
will not
want
concede 2009.
I'll put it in 2009 up there.
Yeah, to me, it's incredibly important. Like, I know that you think it's soulless, but like, I think it's like, in a way, I hate to use this example because how much I love Star Wars, but I think it's almost like Force Awakens. Like, it needed to happen. It had to happen because of how long there was from the first movie to where we saw the entire cast to. There was so much time that had gone by.
But so this would be my counter argument to that is I absolutely agree with what you're saying. Like, I mean, it is one of those things, like Justin Lin rebooted the whole franchise with that movie and turned it into this full-on action blockbuster thing, right? From what it was. It was like these weird niche movies about street racing and dumb comedy kind of thrown in there. And it turned it into a full-on die-hard, kick-ass, take names action franchise, right? So that's what that was. And it set the table for what's to come, and what's to come makes it better, but it as itself kind of sucks. I think you're looking back going like, no, it's kind of good because 5 was awesome. Well, okay, but that was 5.
So bad. Like that's my argument, is that 1 is just so bad, and one is worse because they didn't know how to write those characters yet, and the characters are very just like caricature-esque, and then in 4, like, they have their own personality, and that, I think that is where because I'll agree with you that it's right under 1. It's like, or I'm sorry, it's right above 1. Like 1 and 4 are interchangeable, but I can't put 4 under 1.
Here's the thing I have. I kind of agree with you there. They're 5 and 6. We're just arguing over placement here.
Yes.
But I would have the original over 2009 simply because the cars are better. Like the one thing the original movie did, which was, this is a street racing movie. It's what the fuck's that? Keanu Reeves, Point Break. It's Point Break, but with cars, right? And it's but what they did was, like, every street racing scene in that movie was done very well. And like the cars themselves were kind of the star of that movie, because at that time, whoever heard of Paul Walker or Vin Diesel, and by the time it gets to 4, it's now a character thing that they happen to drive cars in.
Mm-hmm.
And putting them both on equal footing, I'm leaning towards the cars.
But that was really where they started the character thing, though. I mean, like, it was more character. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't even think. I mean, I don't know. It just kind of seemed like in the beginning of that movie, they were just dusting off like so many acting cobwebs. Like, I don't think any of them had done anything in a while. Like those sets looked like garbage. Like the FBI like place the dude was at looked like a warehouse that they hadn't really.
But that opening scene with Paul Walker chasing that dude is fun. Like, that chase scene is fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like throughout the series, I mean, there's always those set pieces that are interesting to watch. But yeah, like once the acting starts and the action stops, because I mean, like they were all really. I mean, like it's not really that hard to set up an action shot, right? Just like, run and do your thing. It's like physical, and like they were good at that like particular type of acting. Like it was when they actually started to have to like show emotions and show bonds. I mean, like Paul Walker looked like he went to a couple acting classes from Too Fast and Too Furious after that show, because he was just like, okay, I got to do something here to kind of like brush up on my chops. But still, I mean, it seemed like, they hadn't done anything in a while and they were just kind of getting themselves.
All right, I can see.
So wait. Well, let's hold on. So Shannon, because we're both on either side. So Shannon, you're the deciding vote here. What's 5 and what's 6?
I don't know. I gotta go with 4 being lower than the original. So 6 would be 4.
Mm-hmm.
And Fast and the Furious, right? The Fast and the Furious would be 4. Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't confusing at all. Fast and Furious is 6, but The Fast and Furious is
Yeah.
Which also, I mean, it's not anything about the movie, but a horrible choice for a movie title.
Oh, like horrible movie titles all the way around. Like it just like everything is the same. Like until you get to like the Fate of the Furious.
I like 5. I like 5. Fast 5. Well, like
is it?
Yeah,
and I like Furious 7 too. I like Furious 7 as a title. But is it too late to drop Fate of the Furious to the bottom just for having F8 of the Furious?
That's genius, sir. Genius.
Yeah,
but see, here's something I will say to just make a possible argument for 8 to be the last, to be at the bottom.
Okay.
To have the cast that they have, to have the concept that they have, to like so many movies building up to this, and to have an opportunity to like, I don't know, like everyone's in their kind of prime. Like you got Jason Statham, you got Charlize Theron, you've got The Rock, you've got like everybody's there except for Paul Walker, and it's just so not fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so. You know what? That might be most disappointing. Never mind. We'll keep 2.
Yeah, no,
at the bottom.
I think 2 is the worst movie, but yeah, Fate of the Furious was definitely the most disappointing one, easily.
Now, what do you think about them actually? Like, I mean, do you think it was like? Do you think it was pretty? I don't know. I wouldn't say like fun or whatever. I mean, but like they basically just kind of dropped the Fast and Furious 4, whatever it's called, Fast and Furious. They just dropped that and was just like, okay, we're just gonna say Tokyo Drift never happened, or it hasn't happened yet. We're kind of like splicing into the timeline here. Like,
it's because of how many people loved Han.
Yeah, Han was awesome, dude. That guy was amazing. But like,
which is why Tokyo Drift's at number 4. Tokyo Drift caps the top.
Okay,
but I'm not putting it any. I will not put it any higher than that.
I'm not putting Tokyo Drift under 7. 7 sucks.
Nah, I did wholeheartedly disagree with you.
7 sucks. Jason Statham is a horrible villain. He has cool moments where he fights people, but his concept, the premise, and then all of a sudden Kurt Russell is like this, is Mr. Nobody, and he's just a government dude, and we're just going to hire him, or we're just going to use him to go get this drug lord that's in Africa or wherever the hell they go.
Okay, first off, let's not do plot breakdowns, because every movie, the number 4, like, oh, this drug runner hires street racers to bring drugs through tunnels. Like, what the sure, whatever. Like, you
can at least say there is a logical element to that. However, with this, what my problem is, there's just so much going on. There's so many different elements, and there's nothing that comes together. I rewatched that movie and was like, I don't want to finish this.
You know, I will agree with you on one point with Furious 7. I was waiting the entire time for the like Ocean's 11 wrap up, where it was like, oh, all these threads come together. Like, I didn't know it, but they were all making sense in reality. And when they show me the recap, I'll figure it'll all make sense. And that never happened. But here's the thing. Tokyo Drift 4, Furious 7 3, simply because The Rock flexes his way out of a cast. I mean, come on, dude. That's worth a point right there. I mean,
and some of the lines in 7 are just, I know they're all cringeworthy in a lot of these movies, but it was just and I think honestly, the use of Statham is so disappointing to me. Like, how Statham is supposed, like, Statham's introduction to the series is literally killing Han and saying, "I'm coming for you," and then he doesn't come for them. He comes for Toretto. Like, he goes to the funeral of Han, and then Toretto hunts him down, and then that's it. Like, he doesn't go after anyone else. And then like I said, it becomes this thing of drug lords and Mr. Nobody and the God's Eye and this freaking Die Hard 4 bullcrap. Like, I hate it so much. I hate it so. But you know what? Fine. You know what? You know how you win? Because Little Bow Wow is in Tokyo.
Yeah, I was just about to say, right? like.
But he's the comic relief. He's a better Roman than Roman is. Like, so I would have rather seen Bow Wow in the rest of the movies than Roman.
So I was just about to drop on Robbie though, how as a proper Southern gentleman he could champion Tokyo Drift when Lucas Black had like the worst Southern accent that comes and goes throughout that entire movie.
Have you ever heard him talk in real life?
I have not, but I've heard him talk in that movie, and that accent is all over the place. Like,
well, I'm gonna tell you, man, he has a Southern twang in general, and I don't understand why they make him like lay into it and lay back off of it. I don't understand, because he does the same. He does the same thing in Friday Night Lights.
It became so distracting to me.
Yes, I agree.
It was almost like Kevin Costner-esque in the Robin Hood movie.
All right, fine,
where like.
You win.
But I mean, you should have a little bit more clout with that movie because of the slow motion roll with the Chevelle, where the Tabasco sauce and everything else is flying by in slow motion.
I did think that was funny.
That was probably one of the funniest shots in that show.
You know what though? Damn it, Robbie.
What?
You talked enough shit about Furious 7 that now I'm like, just having Han make it better, because Han is like. Han is secretly the best character in the entire franchise.
Agreed.
And it's the most Han. So
he's not in it. And then they try to add other characters who then become who show back up in 8.
He's the franchise's Yoda is essentially what it is. And
and he has a good, like, in a way, like, he has a really good moral compass. Like, and he's love struck by, like, I don't know. I love him. I love him.
You have to understand. I'm trying to wrap my head around the fact that I'm about to say Tokyo Drift is in the top 3 of these movies
because it is. It is. Dude, you just gotta lean into it. Embrace it.
Here's what makes it. And here's what makes.
If you're watching the video stream, you can see like how troubled I am.
I know.
I'm like blankly staring at a wall.
You're depressed. You're almost depressed.
And I'm going to tell you something too. And this is the sucky part that I don't like bringing up. But Paul Walker dying really hurt 7 too, because the CGI to make him like they reshot a lot of that movie.
Yeah,
and you can tell
there was a lot of crow techniques in that movie where all of a sudden he's being looked at from behind a lot. You know.
Yes.
Fuck. Yeah. Like also the Shibuya chase in 3 is really good.
Dude, that the racing scenes in that movie is so good.
I thought your biggest beef of that movie, Zach, would be that they put a Nissan motor into a Ford Mustang.
Well, yes. I mean, that's one of those where it's like, well, it's fiction. Okay.
My brother's biggest gripe is that they have a Mustang freaking drift. Like that's his big beef.
Want to know what Mustangs can't do? That shit right there. Like, yeah. Fuck. God damn it, Robbie, you win.
Yeah. Good job, Robbie. You got
the win. I'm about to surprise everybody though on my number one.
All right.
Well, we still have to do two, right?
Well, but by saying two, he's saying what one is. So what's your two?
It's not 5. It's 6.
Luke, wait. Okay, so 6 is your number 1 or 6 is your number 2?
6 is my number 1.
I would agree.
Luke Evans. Is that his name? Luke Evans?
Luke Evans, yeah.
Luke Evans is the best villain of the whole franchise. He's so good. He's got a plan. He has a code. It is obvious. And the only reason why he loses is because of, physics and also a runway, an Air Force runway that never ends.
Yeah.
He can fight. He is methodical. I absolutely love the interaction with him and Michelle Rodriguez after one of their guys die, and she tells him, and he's like, "Okay, thanks for telling me." And she's like upset, and he's like, "What? He made a mistake. That's why he's dead." And I just love that concept. And obviously it helps that he's probably the best actor of the whole of that whole movie, and it just stands out. Like he chews up scenery whenever he is on screen.
And that's also where the crew of the Fast and Furious suffer their first loss too, because was it Gal Gadot takes it on that one. So
so here's my problem. Here's my problem right here. That two things. One, this is a movie where Vin Diesel launches himself through a windshield.
Yeah.
Flies at 100 miles an hour.
Yes.
Flies. Connects with another living body in the air heading the other direction, grabs that body, twists, lands on a windshield of another car, and both of them get up and walk away. And look, I'm supposed to believe Gal Gadot falls at 80 miles an hour and dies? What physics are these universe?
Look, man, let's just be real. The biggest problem I have of physics in these films is the fact that homeboy Lucas Black doesn't have jet lag after flying to Japan. Okay,
right? Seriously.
But anyway, look, you're right. But let me just say this: if you're talking about problems with physics, these guys use a bank vault and treat it like it's a freaking chain chomper from Mario.
My favorite part of that is when they take a hard right turn and the vault turns with them. Yes. It's like, now that vault's still going down the street. And now you're getting drugged behind it. There's no turns with this thing.
Then Diesel does it with one car by the end.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great.
I think the villain is what makes me love it the most. And it's the first one that has a twist. There was someone on the other side that was helping Luke Evans the whole time. And I honestly at the time didn't see it coming. And look, we can say all we want, but Michelle Rodriguez has had one of the most successful careers as a female actress of any of these actors. She's done things. She's been in other big blockbuster films, and she actually has some really good moments of acting in that movie. And look, 5 is great. I love 5. 5 has one of the best fight scenes of movies ever. Mm-hmm. But 6 just is so freaking well done. It's so good.
So here's my argument for 5 is 5 does all the things that this franchise really needed. It has a wonderful gets the gang back together sequence. Mm-hmm. Leading up to the train heist, which was really fun. And it did what this franchise needed so desperately, was introduce The Rock as a proper foil for Dom. Someone there needed to be a just as big a bad in the universe as that guy for any of that shit to be taken that not to be laughable, basically.
Yes.
You know, and so the presence of Hobbs's character really changes the entire dynamics of the franchise in a very positive way. And that would be, and like both of them are ridiculous. Like the endless runway sequence was just stupid, but it's just as stupid as the bank vaults. You know, like let's be honest, the bank vault thing was dumb with like
but Zach, my argument for it is for 6 is they do a great job with music and the beat dropping and everything. That moment where Vin Diesel's getting the crap kicked out of him, and then all of a sudden The Rock shows up and punches one of the guys, and then it just shows those two squared together against Luke Evans and his big guy, and it's just like face to face, like a big match is about to happen. It is the most WWE thing ever, and it was epic, and it was awesome. And whenever they Dudley 3D that guy was pretty great too. So, and if you don't know what that is, it's a wrestling move, and I'm a nerd. So, I think 6 also offers up a great opportunity for Vin Diesel to be more than just the brute and the guy who beats up people. Because look, let's just be real. Outside of him driving and beating people up, he doesn't really add much to the team. But his stuff.
But it's his code of family.
Yeah, but his stuff with Michelle Rodriguez is just really enjoyable to watch for me. Like him just trying to win her back over. Like I don't know. It sounds cheesy, I know, but I just think it works. But 5 is so good though too. But again, for me, it all comes down to villain, and 5 is just like this money hungry guy who blah 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 blah. But 6 has got a actual villain who we know his plot, we know what he's trying to achieve. And he wins. Like, he freaking wins if that runway isn't 17 miles long.
Right.
Because he gets away.
And I also think, was it 5 is where they really start leaning into everybody being like superheroes. Right? I mean, that's where like it kind of starts going crazy, like with like the over the top action sequences, people getting blown out of windows. Like, it's just, I mean, yeah, it's just, I don't know, like it just becomes magical from there on out. Like, you're just going in for like a crazy over the top action heavy dialogue light, like movie. And like,
I mean, the dialogue in those two and 5 and 6 specifically, like, it's just like, hey guys, we're going to give you 1 or 2 lines tops. Like, this is an actual line in 6. This just went from Mission Impossible to Mission and freaking Sanity. Like, that is an actual quote.
And I was gonna say, I don't. What's the one where they go to that's further down the line. What was the Rock in Antarctica?
That's
in 7.
Yeah, that's
in the Fate series. The Rock was there, right? Like in that sequence.
The Rock moves a freaking missile.
Oh, that's right. Like. But that's the thing. Like every time I see The Rock in these movies, he's sweating. Like it doesn't matter where he is. He's like he's sweating or he's glistening. Like I wonder if there's a dude that just follows him around, or like
miss him.
Yeah, or he's just like standing in a vat of oil. Like when he's not on screen in shots, he's just getting oiled up like from head to toe, like everywhere. Because like that dude glistens in like every shot he is in, like every shot. Like doesn't matter what movie he's in, what he's doing. He could be sitting there filling out paperwork, and he's just got sweat like all over the place, and he's spitting on the floor, and he's got that brooding look. Like it's just, I don't know. There's so many tropes about these movies that I just enjoy. Like all of them. Like all of them are just awesome. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Like
I agree.
They're great. I'm gonna watch.
And I will say, it was 6 had Hicks, right? That was Gina Carano's character.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was really good too. Like she was great.
Dude. And that fight with her and Michelle Rodriguez is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the guy who
So I really wanted to see her like beat Paul Walker's ass. It's like they always square off against like the other girl, you know?
Something I forgot about. Paul Walker is like, he might be the best fighter of their group. And like his hand-to-hand combat is awesome in these movies. Like, I don't know. It was just fun to go back to it. I vote 6B number 1, but y'all can, if y'all want to make 5. I'm not gonna buck.
It sounds like Shannon might be in agreement with you.
Yeah, I think 6 is better for me. Like, I like I as much as everybody kind of bags on that 17-mile runway, like that last sequence was enjoyable to me, like all of it from start.
Like I said, I couldn't believe Gal Gadot actually died when a guy gets launched from a tank through a windshield into a body into a car and walks away.
Well, what movie was it where Vin Diesel was driving that beater that's like falling apart as it's crossing the finish line? Like that beater that he like MacGyvered like a nitrous tank to.
I know what you're talking about. No, that's freaking 7.
Yeah. So he flies out of that car at probably like 100 and something miles an hour and gets up without a scratch. Like his white pants and his Timberlands are still unscratched. Like he's perfect.
And I'm supposed to believe Gal Gadot died.
Yeah,
that's my only thing. Is like, I mean, I know it's these movies and they're dumb, but you know, I can't let that go.
Fun. And they're just big dumb fun. Like, like I would watch them again with somebody, you know, like they're just fun.
Okay, so let's recap because I think we've done it.
Yes, we have.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give us the list here. The number 8 and worst movie, Too Fast, Too Furious.
100%.
Number 7, Fate of the Furious. F8 of the Furious makes it almost number 8, but it's number 7. Number 6, we are going to go. What did we decide? Was it The Fast and Furious or Fast and Furious?
It was
4 is the worst.
Yeah,
4 is the worst.
Yeah,
it was Fast and Furious is that one, and The Fast and the Furious is number 5. Number 4, which I still can't believe, is Furious 7. Furious 7 is number 4, which means Tokyo Drift is number 3. I still can't wrap my goddamn head around that. Yeah, this top 3 got away from me because somehow Fast and Furious 5 or Fast 5 was number 2, which doesn't make these two guys I'm with on the show are crazy because they put 6. Fast and Furious 6 is the best Fast and Furious movie, and there is the list. We have done it. We got to figure out what the next ranking is because I really like this. This was a lot of fun.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll put it up on the group. We can have debates. We'll continue these debates online. It'll all be fun. We'll figure out the next one. If you have suggestions, please throw them at us. We are liking it. This was a lot of fun. But anyone else have anything before we go?
No. This was fun. I like this a lot.
It was fun.
You're both totally wrong about 6.
Yeah, screw you.
I told you I wasn't dogmatic about it. Like I would have let you put 5 as number 1, but
no,
I think having, you know,
I wasn't gonna Ori and the Blind Forest you on this.
Out of 8 of these movies, like only like 3 of them have villains, like real villains, and this one is the best of the series. And like he's just a good villain, just in general.
Yeah, he drove a dope ass car. I like that little speedster you're driving around in.
Oh, that was so cool. But I actually need to go to bed. I'm exhausted.
Yep. Well, as a fan of American Muscle myself, I will tell you to brush up on your Fast and Furious. They're all fun. They're all dumb. They're all great. Go ahead and check them all out. But in closing, go ahead and follow us on Facebook. We're gonna turn that Pixel Life handle back on and be posting on that, and get on the Facebook group. Throw all this stuff around us. Get on us with iTunes and get us some reviews. All that good stuff. And until the next time, live your life a quarter mile at a time.
So bad.
Oh, all right. Stopping the